Yeah, I walk with the dead, I talk to the dead. Paranormal theory is up in your head. Got to be brave, I walk through the graves. Hoping one day that the spirits will be saved. Yeah, I walk with the dead, I talk to the dead. Paranormal theory is up in your head. Got to be brave, I walk through the graves. Hoping one day that the spirits will be saved. Yeah, when it comes to paranormal, you know I'm an OG. Filled with the skills, boy, everybody know me. When I'm out of town, you can catch me on the TV. Hanging with the high squad, everybody envy. Revolutionize the ghost box, South Crackalacky. From the ghost stories to the Lizzie Borden house. Phil's got the skills, the kills then is out. What are ghosts? Where is the proof? Can science explain it? Let me derive with you. Go to events and hang with my crew. Paranormal family is a life that I choose. Yeah, I walk with the dead, I talk to the dead. Paranormal theory is up in your head. Got to be brave, I walk through the graves. Hoping one day that the spirits will be saved. Yeah, I walk with the dead, I talk to the dead. Paranormal theory is up in your head. Got to be brave, I walk through the graves. Hoping one day that the spirits will be saved. Yeah.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's your boy Phil Summers, the Ghost Theorist, and today's guest we have Mr. Eric Vernor. How do you spell? How do you like to say your name?
Uh,
I didn't butcher it, did I?
well, you better my drill sergeant back in 30 years or so. It works. It's just like the Mish company.
Okay, so like Warner, like
Vernor.
Vernor, Eric
Yeah, yeah.
Vernor.
The name is technically French, even though I have Irish and England my background, a little bit of Czechia, and my throat just took me an extra big mic.
Well, he has been a paranormal investigator for a very long time as well. He's a paranormal researcher. He was on an episode of Paranormal State, and this man, he has knowledge I that surpasses me. It just like blows my mind what this man could do. But as far as paranormal investing or paranormal investigating goes, what is your style and methods?
That's a thing. I think my stress is I'm epic. I go in with the full expectation of not finding anything or anything. And I would, because of that, can be more open-minded and we think does inspire instead of just automatically, I mean, a little freak, in spirit or something. I look at questions, and if you have a proper night vision and think that can rule out money word every night, like it was a mouse, something like that. The word you're seeing is a speculist in a camera lens. Yeah,
Right. So you're not an orbs guy.
no, but at all. I no, probably I'm saying not everything has a cut answer, and I don't claim to have all the answers myself. So if somebody is a believer in that side, um, they're certainly entitled to their opinion. I don't necessarily submit every single time. I think that it's a wrong assumption, either extreme.
See, that's the reason I created this show is because there's so many opinions about what things are in this
Mhm.
industry and like what things are out in the field. And I want I have a dream of one day there being a general consensus of what something might be. Just something that, somebody could just go to a crowd of people that are just, out in a stadium somewhere. You know, sort of like Neil deGrasse Tyson, how he poetically describes what space is. Maybe we need
Uh,
something like that so that this everybody is entitled to their opinion thing is kind of a little bit narrowed down.
um, I think that there are people in a community, um, like Dave Rader and Jeff Belcher and people like that, more experts that have been in the field far longer than I was, that have researched and explored and talked to other people along the way in their careers. I think Mr. Schrader are definitely of that degree, category, if you will.
Well, maybe Dave Schrader has been a very big inspiration of mine, actually, for a long time since I was a kid, since 2008. Well, by that time I was like 17 or 18, but you know,
Yeah,
he's been an inspiration for me for a long time.
yeah. We met years ago in person at Fest. I believe it was, maybe it was Bethlehem Paranormal Horror Con. I don't know if it's way too long. But I was a guest on his show several times in the past, and he respected my skepticism. People like him and Brian Kale from Haunted Collector, I worked him for a time. He was kind of the tech guy and some skeptic as well. And we did a cast with him co-hosting. We had a good chapter where he's like, I'm a paranormal show, but there are things that he questions and wonders about, and he science eliminate the improbable. You know, we had a good chat about that. I think that it's important to understand a lot of things that we hear about and encounter might
Okay.
be something that is common. Like I said earlier, if there's a little creature skittering through an abandoned building or a room of an insane asylum, whether it's Waverly or Trans-Allegheny or wherever people are going all the time, and doors are open or windows broken, you know, less well-trafficked places. Maybe it's not animals, maybe it's a homeless person through or down in an abandoned hospital room. You
I
know,
had one time I was in a abandoned old folks home in
Mhm.
Shiraz, South Carolina, and we heard some fluttering around. We were all like, "What's that? What's that? What's that?" Like you know, newbie Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
And turns out it was a bat. There was a bat in a room.
exactly,
You know,
exactly.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, you're right. There are some explanations that can be explained, but there are some things that we need some sort of not scientific terminology or anything to it, but just a poetic way to describe what we're seeing so that
Right,
the normal masses, can understand what we're seeing for ourselves.
right. I would agree with that. I'm known amongst the paranormal people as uh, someone who's not quick to make assumptions and to every bump in the night and say it was a ghost. But at the same time, I was at a paranormal convention. I believe it was in uh, Pennsylvania, and I was selected to be on a panel talking about demons and possession. And that was Mel Belanger. Bellinger was the host of that, the promoter. Um, I believe Father Bailey was there,
I have him coming on the show
and
here, coming on the show here soon
yeah,
too as well.
I believe he was there. I can ask him in case my memories and let me know that I'm crazy. Um,
No,
And a few,
actually, to that question, like, am I crazy? Like, yeah, we are crazy for doing this. Like, we are
yeah,
crazy for going out in the dark and just talking to ourselves and hoping that we
right,
catch something. We're crazy. We're lunatics for this kind of thing. And
right,
the more people accept that, I think the better I think chances of evidence that we might collect.
right. Well, I was on the panel, and one of the questions asked was something along the lines of demonic possession in people, and each of our individual opinions were. And of course, certain people gave, oh, it's possession. We needed this, we need a smudge, we need whatever, and the Catholics were like, oh, we do this, and they went on the line. And of course, I was the very last person to answer the question, and the skeptic and member of the Church of Satan that I am. We don't believe in ghosts, demons, or uh, the devil and hell and all that. It's a cult trappings with very pragmatic, uh, Machiavellian, mentality is what it really is. It's like a spooky eternity.
Yeah.
Uh, and got to me and everybody in the audience and Jeff staring at him. And the rest of my panel were turned, looking at me and what does he say? And I'm like, oh, I'm on the seat here in the last one. And I said, well, and I remember I said this thing, what the reaction was. I truly think that we do in the public, especially the afflicted person, a grave disservice just by instantly talking it out, saying they're possessed, without first ruling out the fact they might be mentally disturbed. Medication could harm them. Sort of have you leave and spray our holy water and light our incense from them and do it. Walk out the room and say, "Hey, Mark, your sister, all good now. And are we not culpable if they harm someone else because they need some medication or treatment?" And everybody just froze. And I thought, oh boy, I'm going to be in because I'm in a room full of diehard good demons are people. But to the letter of every single person there, they agreed with me. And I said, even in the Catholic Church, when they form exorcism, they are now required to rule out the mundane first and treat them for medical situations and stand-ups and before they go in to do anything spiritual. And I was pleasantly surprised by his response and by the general reaction of the audience, because it's not a extent I agree with.
So yeah, I'm in agreement. Agreement. There's my autism right there. My autism. Agreement with you there that not everything is a demon, and we have to. I personally think we have to a say, hey, it's possibly this, it's possibly this, it's possibly this, it's possibly this, before we even go to the demon part. And even if we do get to the demon part, which I think I've only been to the demon part like once and
Right,
had to call, but I will never do this myself. Like I got a buddy that I just will call up and say, hey, I need your help on this, man. Come on over. And
right,
he's ordained and all that stuff, and he's knowledgeable about all this. But me personally, I will not I will not go out and start doing
right.
all that,
Yeah,
spraying holy water and all that stuff. You know what I mean?
right.
It's like
Yeah, if it's not your path, then an insult.
yeah,
I wouldn't expect an Irish Catholic priest going and do a Native American, cleansing with and a chant. Why would you, as a nun, priest, go in and do an exorcism the Catholic? I mean, that just doesn't happen.
I think the TV shows have done this field a lot of disservice with people coming in off the streets thinking that, you know, hey, it's demonic. Hey, it's demonic. This is scary. Ooh, this is spooky. Ooh, and when you just if you just sit and listen, a lot of times what I do in investigations is what I call sniping. I just
Yeah,
sit and I just listen, and sometimes we'll just have a conversation between me and a couple investigators. We'll just be talking. And then that's when we capture the best CVPs, when we're actually just like doing our day to day conversation. And a lot of people go in thinking, oh, let's ask this question, see if we get an intelligent answer or whatever. You know what I mean? And it's
right.
not like that at all. It's not like that at all.
And it's like your last guest. I had the pleasure of listening to uh, Angel talk about her experience in Waverly. Wrote a book together on the history and haunts of Waverly Hills Cemetery. And I did the research on the street and the mineral background and the illnesses and things like that. And she, the paranormal section, because obviously that's her specialty. Um, and then we collected stories, photos from many people. Swan's Corporation and I have done together. Um, and I'm very proud of her for the fact that she goes into it with a open mind, compassion, and even on the show, she said that there are a lot of times she'll go to an investigation at differences, and not every one of them something happens. It's the people that go into every single situation, every single home building, and instantly, so there's a spirit here. Those are the people that raise my flag, so they're of it because they just want the glory of the moment. Be honest about it in your investigating, in your career path. When you're going out to try to help other people who maybe they're buying a home, and legally, if you go out of your way and you're known as a so-called expert in your field, you make the proclamation, this place is haunted. And it doesn't have to matter legally that something ever happened or that you believe or don't believe. If someone is unable to make a purchase of a home based on their belief, that someone said, such as yourself or me, if we claim place is haunted and there's a possession here and bad, that is a adjustment. I don't know what the term is, but it influences the person's decision to buy up by dwelling. So we're kind of on the hook for that. So there's a lot of reality involved in even that we don't stop to think about on a daily basis when we're making these judgments.
Well, I've gone over this before, the legalities of whenever we go in and we say, oh, this place is haunted. I've gone over the legalities. There are legalities involved in this, and this is no joke anymore since 1991. And there was this case in 1991 in New York, and I talk about it all the time. And I'm not going to get people who listen to the show, they know the name of it, and it happened in 1991. It's known as the Ghostbusters case. And now certain states, including the state that I'm in right now, South Carolina, you're legally supposed to have a sign out, this house is haunted, when you're selling it.
Okay.
So there are implications to when we do this and we go out and we do our thing, and these newbie groups that come in and they're just going around saying, oh, everything's haunted, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's legal
Mm-hmm.
implications to this stuff.
Right. And touch base on what you said earlier. I know for a fact someone was on a TV show around time of Paranormal States. I know for older folks out there seeing they go, "Oh yeah, I remember those days." uh, but the new folks out there on the current shows may not be as aware, but for a time period, people tend to lean away from just barrels and or on paranormal shows, and everything while was, oh my God, it's a demon. And a guy I know named Dave Hope was on one of the series, and he came to me and he's like, dude, that's pressure for network. I think it's a buzzword among fans who are tuning into the shows. Everybody's saying every spirit you think encounter the evil and call it a demon because that'll people to tune in. And he refused. He even walked away from paranormal investigating as far as being a host for a while because, yeah, and I applaud him for it because that was his integrity.
You know, a lot of people say they're walking away from the paranormal, but really, you never walk away from the paranormal. Once you're in it, you're in it. There's no going out. Once you're once you're in, you're in. You can't escape it.
Yeah, as a person in your passion, yes, 100% agree. Speaking to people with a fame, publicity, I'm a host on TV sort of. They get burned and disenchanted by pressure from above them.
Kind of cutting in and out there.
Probably because it's snowing really bad where I'm at, might be interfering
Oh,
with the signal on my phone.
nice. I want snow. I mean, not the Charlie
You
Sheen
can
kind
have
of
it. I
snow.
don't
I,
care
I
for
want
snow.
I want the snow outside, not the Charlie Sheen kind of snow.
Right, right.
Yeah, but I mean, is there any advice that you would give people that what would be your advice for anybody that is coming in new to the field and if they're listening to the show on any platform where it's at anywhere and they're listening, what advice would
Mhm.
you give to the new guy, gal that comes into the field?
I read about this in Haunted Slums and Sanitariums. Introduction, I talked about it. I think that a lot of people overlook the simple things, like get permission from whoever owns the property that you're investing in if it's an abandoned area, first of all, because you don't want cops rolling up and busting you because you're trespassing. Um, Another piece of advice along the same lines, let somebody know where you're going and when they should expect you or get a safe call or whatever, because too many of these places are condemned and falling apart. And if you hit the wrong spot on a floor, you could fall, through and
I've
break
got
leg and be
I've got a video just like that where I fell through a hole in from the second floor
exactly.
to the first floor. So yeah, I agree.
Bring water because you dehydrate depending on weather. Dress appropriately in airs. Um, have stayed in some knowledge and basic, wound treatment because these are full of broken glass and rusted metal, asbestos in the old buildings. I mean, places are not safe all the time, especially the really old things. Have they come with you kind of suck for you and, grab you and fall into a hole or, it's common sense things that beginner normal investigators sometimes bother thinking about their own personal safety when they go into place.
And they overlook their own safety just because, they want that glory, like you're talking about, that fame, that glory. And they
Yes,
want that piece of evidence that puts them on TV. That's why they go out and do this kind of stuff.
exactly. They're not looking at their own, you know, overall health and well-being. They're like, well, I'm going to go with this footage on my phone or my, TV, media, whatever device they're using, they want to get that YouTube sensation that they'll be the next person to get a show on Travel Channel or whatever. They're not thinking about, oh, I might go in and fall through the floor and not be from the exciting, wild animal 3 days
Well, I
later.
mean, that would be exciting TV to see somebody fall through the floor, but like, it like make it
Yeah,
and then like, they fall through the floor like I did. And then I'm just on the ground laughing my ass off and I'm just like laughing. Did I just fall through the floor just now?
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's funny looking back on hindsight. What if you had broke your ankle? I mean,
Yeah.
that's all I'm at. And I think I come up the weirdest answers that are kind of boring to most people who are like, oh, I want to be a investigator. What does that have to say? And I'm like, go take a free course. And they're like, oh, that's not fun. That's not cool.
I think if you want to be a paranormal investigator, you just got to go out and do it. There's
Yeah,
no
yeah,
training course you need to just follow or anything like that. Learn from experience.
yeah, yeah. As far as the actual hands-on doing it, you have to go through yourself and record things, jot things in a notebook when memory are still fresh in your mind, or record yourself giving your thoughts and reactions, document stuff. Because you can remember a little detail, but you won't, especially when you get like us.
And another thing is a lot of people they don't like going like most people, I would say a good majority of investigators that go out there, they don't like going over the evidence. And I talked to Dave Schroeder about this and he kind of disagreed with me a little bit. But I feel like a lot of investigators, they really miss they don't look over every second of every recording that they do on any device that they have, whether it's a video recorder or an audio recorder. You could have evidence on there, and people just don't want to go to the work.
I really think it depends on the person. I mean, some people are kind of look for the most loud noises or whatever seeking thing pops on their normal cameras or something along those lines. But there are probably people out there that are so hard curious. They'll go every 1 second they get some because they're so hungry to try to prove something is there that's said. So I really think you're both right. I think it depends on the individual. Everything very uh, case by case scenario.
And another thing, I don't know how many computers I have and hard drives I have of just hours and hours and hours of just investigation material. And they're on all my hard drives and everything from years and years and years of doing this. And I still have yet to go over some there's a there's a couple of hard drives I've yet to go over still to this day from like
Mhm.
2011.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
When do you find time to even begin to scratch the surface of going through all your old stuff?
Well, I started in 2004. So I went in and got my first recording with a Walkboy, the Home Alone toy.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
a tape recorder. And
Hmm.
I got my first piece of evidence with a Walkboy. And it's out there on YouTube and it's made its rounds. It's been up there since then. And when you listen to it, man, whew, it gets to you. It gets under your skin.
Has anybody else that you react their opinions gone over it either with you or after the fact and reach out to you saying that they have an idea of me?
So I I basically when I investigate, I consult with other teams. I am a solo investigator and I have one other person that goes with me and does a video recording or whatever. And
Okay.
then other times I will consult with other teams around the country. That's how I do it.
Okay. Just curious.
Yeah. So, yeah. So I'm like a consultant.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm pretty much homebody for the most part the last few years. The jobs worked in the industry that I'm in occupy a lot of my time. So my research online, talking to people, getting their quotes and things like that. I'm putting together because I spend my time writing and assembling other people's than I do, unfortunately, going out and enjoying, the mysteries that are my own as much as I used to.
So, well, I just had a brain fart. I just had an autism brain fart. I was gonna ask you
That's okay.
something. I was gonna ask you something important too. Oh
We share
man.
that. We share that.
Oh man. You know what? It happens even more whenever I'm talking to somebody else that has autism. Like, my like we have this autistic hive mind, and our
Yeah,
brain
yeah,
farts just like go at it.
right.
But speaking of which, do you think that autistic people harbor a more capable ability to see what's on the other side, see spirits, get evidence, get, if
Wow. I
have,
had honestly ever considered that because I don't know as many people on the spectrum that are in the same things I am. I kind of like an duck in the first that had, been willing to admit it because there's a stigma about condition. And but as far as I can answer that from my personal perspective, my own, life and experience, I think overall we tend to be a little bit more empathic because we struggle so much in recognizing social cues and relate people in general because their mind works differently. We have to be more productive, deliberately focus on understanding, grasping other people are getting at your emotion because it's apparent to us. So it's that very nature of at least the more mature autistics give shit that what other people are thinking of them and trying to be normal around them. It's called asking for some Dane listener out there. When we try to cope and like other people, but you can't turn it off. But I think because I focus so much on that, uh, my about answering your question, sorry, we focus a little bit more, we pay attention to something. So I think we all, at least the majority, is more sensitive and tuned with that sort of thing. If you're drawn to it, if you're drawn to the normal and autistic, think you're going to focus on it than other people. They're going to rely more on machines because they're go. Whereas for us, going to be instinctive and what do we perceive? And we're very analytical people. We need facts, we need things in front of us. We struggle to blindly settings. So
agreed.
that's my answer for that. At least for me,
So there's this one investigator. She I'm gonna say her name because this girl, she's awesome. She's amazing. Jenny Davis. She's autistic. And every time I've been on an investigation with her, stuff happens, like weird stuff happens, and in the vicinity of where we're at. And she's
so
she's like, I'm just a magnet. So
yeah, that's
that's why I
interesting.
asked that question.
Um, I don't know. I think Angel would a lot more answer that directly than me. from a different perspective, but I think it may not be that we're magnets for it. I think we just notice it more. It's
That
like
yeah.
uh, kind of like, let me use this for an example. Uh, Tony Robbins, the life coach guy, the famous, energy big dude. He says that there's a mental thing that all people do that I forget the term. I'm sorry, I'm a big fan of his, but he says that if you're thinking about a car and that's a highlight in your mind because you're focused on it, because maybe you want one, every time you go outside and you drive and you look around, your brain is automatically going to zero in. You're like, oh, there's a red car. Oh, there's a red car. And you're always going to click and be kind
Mentalism.
of, yes. And it's like, maybe that's what it's, maybe because we're so focused on what it is we're doing that we're more receptive to it. Therefore, maybe she's not so much a that maybe she's more able to recognize when it's happening to her and other people would miss it. I could be totally off, but
No, no, that's a good
that's my
answer.
opinion.
I like that answer. I like
So
that
I
answer.
don't know, and I can't for either. You'd have to ask her, on the, off chance you get to bump into her again. Hey, this is what I had, but and this other guy said is autistic, but what thing? You'd have to ask her yourself.
So, do you have a theory that can explain what we are seeing? What is your theory and why did you decide to join the Ghost Theorist Show? And what is your theory on ghosts and why they
Okay,
appear?
this is again to be contrary to most of your other guests because, like I said in the beginning, I come across from a skeptical view. I'm not going to assume everything I hear, feel, and see is a spirit. Therefore, what drew me into it was pure curiosity of what happens after death if everybody else is right and wrong. And the idea of Einstein that energy cannot be created nor destroyed. If energy exists in the human body and the thought forms, and when we're emotional, and you put EKG and other type of device on a person, get them all up, things spike. So obviously emotion, energy tied together. Is that part of what spirits are when people die? The energy in the body that remain the residual echo of who they were. Because there was an old show a long time ago. I can't remember if it was William Shatner was the host of it a long time ago, where it said it was in a western ghost town that people would go in there at night and they'd hear thinking of pool cues and you know glassware and things like that. The echo of the old time, and it now the lead paint so thick on the walls that it somehow recorded the sound like an old record. And when the kitchens were, people were hearing that sort of back. And which one of those answers are correct, or is it an amalgam of all? So it's just my curiosity got into this, and it's cool and it's spooky, and so many real lost friends into it. And I thought, in a world of all these dark and weird and macabre. So I just started writing to answer the question I had. I still don't have answers.
Well, everybody says ghost or energy, and that's where they
Hmm.
stop. That's where they stop. They just say ghosts are energy. Okay. What kind of energy? All right. They
Right,
just stop there. They don't break it down. They don't do anything else. Ghosts are energy.
right.
That's pretty much what people say all the time. But
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
have you ever had a moment where you thought that okay, like have you ever had a moment where know you were like near death? Like you had that moment where you're like, "Oh man, how am I alive right now?" Have you ever had one of those moments?
A few times, yeah.
And have you ever had that thought? You know how your brain still is active 7 minutes after you die? Have
Right.
you ever thought that so, for for me it's a weird thought that somehow that your brain could still play out your life even after your heart stops in 7 minutes, and that 7 minutes could, last a lifetime inside your mind before
Right.
that 7 minutes is up. And
Did that
sometimes
experience in that time. Yeah.
sometimes I have that thought, am I dead right now? Am I the ghost?
Right. Kind of like the movies, I see people, I don't know what it was called, the one
Yeah,
with
I
Bruce
see dead
Willis.
people. I am the dead people.
Right. Right. Yeah, it's very good question. I'm not sure. It definitely makes stop think, because what are the seven messages you're getting? Someone caught in a loop in their mind, infecting that strong of an energy at that bit of life, projecting, their life was lying. That's what investigators are actually picking up. Not a conscious entity that's trying to communicate, but they're picking on that loop of what the person, what's all up to them.
Not just that. I have a theory that when we die, we don't necessarily die. We just transfer to another completely different reality than the one we're experiencing now. And sometimes the ghosts that we are seeing are the different realities converging together.
Into ours.
Yeah. So, say, for example, how Google's new quantum computer just was able to solve a really unsolvable mathematical equation that would take billions of years longer than the universe was formed. So, that basically proves that there are multiple realities to this existence. And so, we information, I do believe, can be shared between these realities.
Okay. Yeah. I see where you go with that.
Yeah, make it doesn't
So,
make a little
so,
sense.
so kind of like an energetic parallel world of ours that kind of overlaps us.
That cliche saying, the veil is thinning and all that stuff.
Right. Especially
It's
like in
so
Hollywood.
cliche, and it's like this psychic mediums have basically hijacked this physics form of explaining reality. And they always say the veil is thinning, the veil is thinning. Oh, the moon's out, and full moon, the veil's thinning, and it's so cliche. Everybody says it, but there's
Okay.
truth to it.
Yeah, I was just thinking while you're driving, perhaps they're just interpreting in the way that they comprehended this and relaying it to others.
Right. So that's why I say we need some sort of somebody who can metaphorically explain between the scientists, the PhD people, and the paranormal investigator. We need that medium that's in between, that's able to poetically just talk and talk to both sides.
Hmm.
So that's why I feel that that is the most important thing that we need in this field right now. We need a Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah. Well, the hard thing about that, well, I love the idea and I do agree with it. If we had sort of expert
let's be real here. There are experts in this field. Let's be real here.
Yeah,
There are
there's a
experts.
lot of them.
People need to stop saying there are no experts in this field. That's what the noobs come in and say all the time.
Right,
Yes,
right,
there are
right.
experts. There are people that have been doing this for decades. They're experts. I would say
Yeah,
you're an
there's no one
expert.
that. Well, I'm not sure if I myself there with the Dave Shooters and Tim Shaws and Rosemary Ellen Guiley while she was alive. High caliber, but I appreciate being old enough and better enough, staying long and to be considered. Thank you. Uh, but yeah, I do agree with you. If there's some sort of codified, statement, but it's difficult too for different reasons. One, because there's a lack of empirical solid proof for us to point at and agree with. And then for the second part of the argument is, sadly, you're dealing with people. You're dealing with emotion, egos, and everybody who's going to argue about
Religions,
everything.
egos.
Yes. So it's going to be very difficult. Even if somebody as knowledgeable as you're driving were to come out and say, well, this is how it is, you're going to have people out there arguing ever that individual is wrong and biased. So I think it's going to be difficult to find that on Degrassi.
I mean, we have the evidence, so it is what it is. We capture we I keep on saying on this show, we capture the EVPs, we capture the video evidence, we capture the photos, we have the evidence. It is what it is. There's no it could be this, it could be this, it could be this. It is what it is. I know that's a cliche saying too, but I
Yeah.
mean, what else can you say? I mean, I'm so sick. I'm sick of the opinionated individuals that are like when there's something obvious that's like right in front of your face and it's like right in front of your face right there and they're
Mhm.
just trying to discredit what it is. They're just mad they didn't capture it.
I was just going to ask you, think it's just for grapes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they didn't get glory in the one who presented it to the world. It's like, what if someone shot, killed, albeit accidentally, a Savage and dragged the body out for people that's doing an autopsy and other, DNA samples and whatever, and said Bigfoot is 100% empirical instance right on your face. You can put the body. There's going to be some numbness out there who said, I don't believe it. You just can't. You can lead a horse to water, but make them drink.
I mean, right now, everybody wants the government to tell the world that aliens are out there, right? That's that's the big news. That's the big thing in the news right now.
Yeah,
Is Luna, I believe, Anna Luna, I believe her name is. She's going to be the one to be the one that tells the world, yeah, we have photographic or we have evidence and all that good stuff that there's intergalactic beings out there that are coming and visiting, and here it is. There's still going to be those
yeah.
people that are like, I don't
Well,
believe it. I don't
well,
believe a single word they're saying. I don't believe a single word they're saying. But
well,
they are the
it's
ones that were asking the whole entire time. They were the ones asking the whole entire time for the government to do it for them, and they're
exactly,
going to be the ones
exactly.
that saying they're going to be the ones that are going to be like, I don't believe it. I don't believe him. I don't believe it because the
Yeah,
government's saying it. And it makes
right.
really grinds my gears.
It's ironic that you mention that because piece together it's a reprint of Con UFOs that was first. It was the Air Force Colonel who first identified uh, and coined the term UFO, unidentified object in I believe in the 1960s or 70s. Did a report and it got redacted, and he later was ordered to tell people after being disgraced for years, oh, it didn't exist, didn't see it. And now, just now, like a year ago, there's a group in Congress, senators who got together with a team that went over everything, and they're admitting that, oh yeah, we have files, we know things, and it almost exonerates the poor old guy who died, probably humiliated first to his military career, that he's the one that first said this is the thing, and they could cover up for such a time. And now when the government will say, oh yeah, I wasn't lying. What a kick in the teeth to that guy.
Yeah, for real. I mean, I think he deserves at least a gold, bronze star, something
I,
for
yeah,
that period of time and that torment that he went through. And is he going to get
exactly.
it? I don't think he's going to get it. But at least
No, of course not.
now he's got the recognition. At least he's got it.
Right.
I know what Air Force Colonel you're talking about.
I believe the era around that time, they called it Project Blue.
Yeah, Project Blue Book.
Yeah. Well, I can thank when you said we inspired me, it clicked in my head. Uh, a personal background. My grandfather and grandmother on my dad's side were Masons, and that's what drew me into the old secret society stuff when I wrote the Promethean Flame. I acknowledge in that one, if it for my grandparents, I wouldn't be in the things that I am in the dark and spooky, because my girl also was very strong in Bigfoot, the Bermuda Triangle, and aliens, UFOs. She talked to the spirit of mother visiting her right after she died when she was a small child. And yeah, I credit my grandparents for partially for me and to the bizarre and weird and unusual. I
Yeah,
kind of were
I
very
credit my grandpa for that as well because when I was spending the week with my grandparents up in Tennessee when they were alive, my grandpa would show me all these old books, like old books, and they had like there's some weird stuff in it that I can't even describe to this day what I saw. If I could get to that book, man, I want to get to that book. But
If you
he
ever find
explained.
that title,
There wasn't a title of it. It was a book of drawings and stuff like that. It was just a book of
okay,
drawings, and he also taught me how gravity works by putting a ball in the middle of a tarp and just showed me how gravity works by putting a little tiny ball in it, and just when I was a 9-year-old kid,
wow,
and
cool.
so that's another I started going home from school and started watching a haunting. I live in Charleston, South Carolina, so I live right by the first cemetery where I had my first experience. Well, the cemetery where I had my first experience is right behind my house.
Okay.
And so I credit my grandparents as well. But we are getting on the last 9 minutes of the show. So let's get all the plugins that we gotta get in.
Well, darkmoonus.com is rebuilt, so I'm sorry I can't point people in that direction. We have a TikTok for it, going to be adding on Instagram a shot on there. Angel's part with that, and so is my partner, Star Gain, who writes us, but he's more editor and inside officey stuff. We're working together on putting together a way for people books for us while we're building the site. We're hoping mid next year we'll have everything on it. There's 5 books, as we've been growing exponentially last year. So, you guys follow me on Facebook under Eric Vernor. And if you go on Amazon, under ER Vernor, and my old pen name, Corvus Sternum, you can find almost everything that I've seen.
All right. Well, any So we are on 7 minutes. Is there anything important that you want to get off your chest for the world to hear?
That was a tough one. And I've done 1,000 of these.
We talked about a lot.
Yeah, yeah. That we haven't covered already. The last thing I really want to emphasize to people is keep an open mind. Don't
That's what
just
Matt
blindly,
said.
yeah, just don't blindly assume and have a perceived notion of what you think really exists. Ask questions, talk to people. Don't just take their word as gospel either. No person's everything. So go out there and find out for yourself. And safety first, like I said earlier. Get state classes. Um, bring water to you. Ask permission before you tramp into somebody else's property. Because you think it's a building, somebody owns it. Somebody owns a piece of land. Get permission from the local government. Don't get arrested. Um, and care about one another. Look out each other. If somebody can go do investigation, they're going to go themselves. At least get their own
I mean,
number
even in the
and check
military,
in.
we had battle buddies.
Exactly. That's exactly what you're talking about. Is don't go alone, even if you are a lone wolf, because everybody needs somebody to watch their six.
Well, with that being said, knowledge is power. Knowledge will get you through this field.
Mhm.
Knowledge will get you through that fear and will help you get past that fight or flight sense that you get when you get that tingling sensation that there's a ghost nearby. That tingling electrifying feeling that you see when you get into that frame of mind that there's a ghost around. Knowledge will get you past that fear. Get used to it. Get used to that fight or flight sense. Don't don't flight. Don't flight. Run two.
Good point. Good point.
Oh man. Oh, we're like 4 minutes. We have 4 minutes left. So it's just like it's like bullish and party time.
Well, I really appreciate you having me on. It's been a pleasure. It's been great with you exciting on Facebook Messenger. I'm happy to be back.
And please, all the guests, all the people that you want on a show, please bring them on. Bring them on.
I definitely can point you directly with a couple more authors and friends outside of my published company can send away. Uh, People that can really contribute to different perspectives.
Well, all right. Well, this has been the Ghost Theorist with Eric Vernor. I don't know if that sounded right or not.
Yeah, close enough. Good enough.
Eric Vernor.
Well, thank you, Phil. It's been being on the show.
Oh, I appreciate you coming on, man. You've been a great guest, and you're allowed on anytime, any place, anywhere. You're allowed on the Ghost Theorist. That being said, we are out.